Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my Week 2 battle for the second season of the UPA D-League. This week we will be going up against African Goku, coach of the Los Angeles Jiragalaxy. And before I start with anything, I know I made a mistake in the team builder. I said that Whirlwind could whirlwind out a Focus Punch from Mawile. Turns out, Focus Punch only has priority of -3, and Whirlwind has a priority of -6, so that actually doesn't work, unfortunately. But I did instead, I did decide to keep Whirlwind and Brave Bird on my Skarmory because in the event that if he doesn't bring Focus Punch Mega Mawile, or if he brings, if he brought the Dragonite and sets up with it, and he brings like Swords Dance Mawile or something, like Whirlwind is just there to phase any setup, which is perfectly fine with me. So I kept it the way it was, and that was, I should have researched it more before I made the team builder, but either way I researched it before the battle, which is realistically the important part. But anyways, yeah, as far as the history of this match goes, we won our first week match 6-0, a big win for us. It's my first 6-0 in a league, but that painted a pretty big red target on our back, so everyone's going to be gunning for us, including African Goku here, who also won his week 1 match. So we are both really hungry to keep our streak alive and to go 2-0 instead of being 1-1, as that doesn't look nearly as impressive as 2-0 does. So, on that note, if you want to know about my team that I'm bringing and why I'm bringing it, I did upload a team builder and I will link it in the description below. Excuse me, but for just a quick overview, we have a physically defensive Rocky Helmet Skarmory, we have a Life Orb Modest Hydreigon, we have a Flyinium Z Tornadus T with Hurricane, Icy Wind, Taunt, and U-Turn. We have a Sub-Bulk Up Megaglade, a Magnet Jolteon, and an Assault Vest Diggersby. Looking at what African Goku brought to the table, he brought the Mew, the Galvantula, the Mega Mawile, the Sandslash, the Blaziken, and the Melodic, and there's no Dragonite. I prepped pretty hard for Dragonite because I thought it was a pretty big threat. I'm not too sure why he didn't bring it, but that's beside the point. I made some, not questionable, but there was some definite factoring decisions that made me like base that the Dragonite was there. Like, I'm pretty much never gonna click Icy Wind on my Tornadus because his Dragonite's not here. And then at the same time, my team doesn't have Defog because like I was really torn because like my opponent has a Galvantula, so I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I want to bring Defog for the Sticky Webs, but then at the same time, I don't want to defog my own rocks away because I don't want to have, like, I don't want his Dragonite to keep the multi-scale. So in the end, I decided that my own rocks on the field for his Dragonite would be more beneficial to me than defogging away his webs, and now I am just really regretting it. And that Mawile just looks like an even bigger threat already, and my levitating threats are actually much more important now, basically. But yeah, besides that, going into the lead matchup, I see a Galvantula there. I'm pretty certain he's going to lead with a Galvantula, so I'm going to lead with my Diggersby, as that is the best thing to counter lead his Galvantula. So I know I can take any hits, barring 2 Energy Balls if he goes for it, and me leading Diggersby does assume Scarf. I'm just going to go for a knockoff here, and he goes into his Sandslash, probably deciding that it is the most expendable member, and this damage on the Sandslash tells me that it is indeed a max HP variant. So my first thought was he's definitely specially defensive because that would be the best way to try to deter my Jolteon. So at this time, I still want to keep up the charade that I'm bluffed, or that I want to keep up the bluff, sorry, that I am Choice Scarf, because clearly by that damage I am not boosting item, so, but he can tell I'm Adamant, so he might think I'm Adamant Choice Scarf. So I want to keep up that charade, and I'm not going to U-turn, but instead I'm going to hard switch into my Tornadus, which is a pretty free invite onto a Sandslash, I'm not going to lie, as Goku does decide just to go for the rocks, and here I'm going to fire off a Hurricane, mostly because Hurricane into Z, if he switched out, Hurricane into Z Hurricane guaranteed a KO on, actually, I think everything. Yeah, yeah, that sounds accurate. Even, yeah, it possibly. The only thing it couldn't would be, like, extremely specially bulky Mew or Melodic, but, like, looking at the rest of his team, like, Hurricane into Z Hurricane pretty much knocked something out. So, he ended up staying in with his Sandslash, and as we can see here, it actually wasn't max specially defensive. because he Hurricane did not have a chance to kill here, but I stayed in anyways because Sandslash can't do anything back to me, really. Since I'm holding a Z Crystal, he can't knock it off, and none of his coverage moves, barring potential Rock Tomb, which he might have gone for, could have really damaged me. So at this point, I'm thinking he was probably max HP, max attack instead of max specially defensive, which I'm questioning a little bit, but either way, I get the knockout on the Sandslash, which I am perfectly fine with, as African Goku does decide to just go into his Galvantula. And seeing that he didn't stay in to set up webs on his, on turn 1 against my Diggersby, I'm thinking he doesn't have Focus Sash, because either Return or Earthquake would have, like, even without a boosting item, would have KO'd his Galvantula. And he also just hard brought it in onto a Tornadus T. So it's actually kind of looking like he's Choice Scarf. So if that's the case, and he's not boosting item, I'm definitely still going to go into my Diggersby, as that's the thing that can best take hits from this Galvantula. And if he does set up webs, then I have Diggersby in before the webs. But he does decide to go for the Bug Buzz, which I guess is a good middle ground play, as he didn't, like, when he brings in a Galvantula onto a Tornadus, he's definitely screaming that he is Choice Scarf. So he was basically predicting I was switching out, and Bug Buzz, I suppose, was a good middle ground play. It was between Bug Buzz or Energy Ball. I did bring Assault Vest Hydreigon last time, maybe he expected that, and even if he went for Energy Ball or an Electric Attack, that was a relatively free switch into the Hydreigon, especially if he's Choice Locked, but the Bug Buzz is still a good middle ground play, so if he is Choice Locked, I do expect him to switch out. Energy Ball here does, I think, have a chance to knock me out. Giga Drain can't. There's a chance Energy Ball can, I don't remember. But I'm going to fire off a knockoff here. Why? I'll be honest, I don't know. Looking at the rest of his team, Earthquake was pretty free, so I don't know why I didn't go for that. I think I was still too much in the mode for whatever reason, like full on that he was still had Focus Sash intact. I don't know why. But Earthquake was really free here. I should have clicked it because he goes into his Blaziken predicting basically another knockoff, because the main reason I kept clicking knockoff as well was because Melodic and Mew have a relatively free switch in here if they're physically defensive, and I wanted to knock off their potentially Flame Orb on Melodic and just whatever item the Mew has. But he does go into the Blaziken, which takes it like nothing, and obviously there's no item that got knocked off, so this is Z. But the problem with this is probably the freest Flare Blitz of African Goku's life, and I basically have to sack something here because Diggersby dies to Flare Blitz, and everything else barring Hydreigon, which I don't want to run into a high jump kick should he choose to go for it, pretty much gets O-code here with the rocks up. So unfortunately, I basically have to sack something, and at this point, seeing that there's no Umbreon here, and thinking I can still break the Mew with my Hydreigon if it's physically defensive, I am actually deciding to sack my Gallade here. I really didn't want to, but just looking at his team, it's by far the most expendable member on my team. So I go into my Gallade here, and Goku decides to go for the high jump kick, and he misses! Wow, that was huge! So, high jump kick did not have a chance to Oko me if he was Z. That was a guaranteed. And then I could have gotten some big damage back with Drain Punch. I don't know if the Drain Punch damage would have been enough to live a Flare Blitz afterwards, but seeing that he didn't get the high jump kick damage on me, that's really huge on my Mega Gallade. Again, high jump kick would not have killed, but it's just, you know, I mean, when you miss it's tilting. Everyone, like, Hacks is tilting whether they have an effect on the game or not, so yeah, I don't know whether it affected African Goku that much. Seeing that he went for high jump kick instead of Flare Blitz, that definitely mattered, because Flare Blitz would have guaranteed knocked this out, and I would have basically had to gone into Torn to revenge it. But anyways, he misses the high jump kick, and he's down to 30%. After Mega Evolution, I will outspeed, so this is probably the freest substitute of my life. So I do just go for the substitute as he switches in his Melodic, and as we can see here, his Melodic does not get a Flame Orb. I'm very surprised about that. But anyways, I go for Bulk Up, as unfortunately I didn't bulk out my Gallade. I actually decided on an attacking route only because at +1 I would have been able to guarantee Oko. I would have been able to guarantee Oko especially defense, or sorry, not Oko, 2-hit KO, especially defensive Umbreon. Especially defensive Umbreon at +1. That was the route I went, so unfortunately his Scald does guarantee break my sub every time, but that is fine. Pretty much all I have to hope for is no Scald burns, which you don't really want to play around with Scald burns. But anyways, we're going to get into a point. I do knock off his leftovers here. I mean, seeing that he wasn't Flame Orb, he was clearly leftover, so I want to knock those off. He does reveal the Haze, which is unfortunate. I'm going to go for another sub because I don't want to catch a Scald burn. But he does just go for the recover here, so I'm going to bulk up right away to try to get some damage off. But Goku isn't playing that game and goes for Haze. We're going to see a little bit of back and forth of kind of just like, it's not stally at all. It's just kind of like attacking what's in front of you. So like obviously he attacks the he scalds the sub, so that way I don't keep bulking up and I can get burned. But he actually decides to go for Toxic instead. So a little unfortunate I didn't go for the sub there, but now I can just freely go for Drain Punches here, as basically Goku is forced to either recover or haze away my stat boost. But I'm just going to keep Drain Punch to gain some HP back, as I believe here is the turn where African Goku does go for haze. So since he didn't recover, my Drain Punch basically nets me a 2-hit KO, like either a kill on this or near to a KO on everything bar the Mew. And African Goku does decide to let the Melodic go down and grants him a switch into his Mega Mawile. And I am just not messing around. I'm switching right into my Skarmory. Ugh, excuse me. It's a pretty easy read on his part, so he clearly goes for the Thunder Punch, but that's okay because the one Rocky Helmet damage is all I need for my Flamethrower for my Hydreigon to kill it. I'm just going to go up and get my Rocks to break the potential Sash on the Galvantula and to get General Chip. I'm switching into my Mega Gallade here because it's the most expendable member on my team, as he goes for the Infestation. And that was very weird. I'm like, okay, I'm sacking this off anyways, so I go for the knock off whatever item he has, and he knocks off the leftovers, and that damage reveals that he is physically defensive, and he goes for Rock Polish. So I was very confused at this point. Like, I was thinking, he's a physically defensive Mew. Why is he Rock Polishing? And like, even if he does, again, I'm just sacking this off, and like, the damage that it's going to do to me is not that great. So I'm just going to attack what's in front of me again and go for a knockoff. But then it hit me that he goes for the Baton Pass, and he Baton Passes into Mega Mawile on my knockoff. And yeah, that's kind of looking like game here, boys. Not gonna lie. Like here, I was really panicking. I decided to try to bait him to see whether he has Iron Head or Play Rough here, as he does reveal the Play Rough. So we do have a chance here. We do have a chance. So I have to go into Hydreigon here and basically hope he misses Play Rough, because I had to scout whether he had Iron Head or Play Rough, basically because Iron Head after Rocks, Iron Head is a roll to kill my Hydreigon, and also Play Rough has the chance to miss. So basically, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter either way. I basically have to hope for like either hacks or just good luck on my part in order for my Hydreigon to keep me in this game. So I go for Flamethrower, and we just kind of have to hope that Play Rough misses, and he goes for Play Rough and he hits me. So yeah, that's basically GG. I go into Torn and click Z Hurricane just in case, since that does guarantee kill, just in case he misses, but he goes for Thunder Punch and that kills me anyways. And yeah, that's pretty much game here. Like, this Mega Mawile can clean up from here, and yeah, barring the part where I outspeed. What? I outspeed this thing. Boys, we're back in this game. His Mega Mawile goes down. My first thought was, oh my god, I'm back in this game. Then my second thought was, shit, I sacked too many things. But anyways, I was pretty happy when I saw it. It was like, how do I still have an out? And like, Jolteon outspeeds his whole team now. Barring this is Choice Scarf, but I'm not sure. Like, his Sash is broken. I'm not switching out into Diggersby. Like, it's just too much of a risk. I go for Thunderbolt, and that's clear 2-hit KO, as he had to lock himself in the Energy Ball in case I switched into Diggersby, and obviously here he does reveal Choice Scarf. But yeah, I go for Thunderbolt, and we kill this. I kill this Galvantula, and I'm just like, this is fantastic. Like, my Jolteon might be able to clean up the game. Thunderbolt or Shadow Ball is a roll from here, but I'm gonna go for Thunderbolt, and he lives on 1. No, and he goes for Roost, and I'm like, no, this is so bad. I go for Thunderbolt, try to get the roll again, and I don't get it. No. and he just goes for the roll. And now, since I can't get the roll anymore, I have to volt switch out here into my Diggersby because I need this Jolteon alive to be able to outspeed the Blaziken. I EV'd my Diggersby to be faster than a no-speed Mew, so that's guaranteed faster than a Mew. My Diggersby is not guaranteed faster than Blaziken, so I have to keep this Jolteon alive in order to revenge Blaziken. So I go for the Volt Switch and get this down a little bit to switch into my Diggersby to see basically if I can get a crit, because this thing is looking just way too bulky. But the Mew does just go for Roost again, and I basically have to click Earthquakes here and hope for crits, or that he chokes and switches out into the Blaziken. But he goes for Infestation, so somehow he chokes a different way, and then I almost choke because I go for U-turn, and that was not a guaranteed kill. And luckily, I do get the roll, and I switch out into Jolteon, and my Jolteon, I'm just kind of hoping, like, I really need this Blaziken to not have Vacuum Wave, and come on, please don't have Vacuum Wave, and he doesn't have Vacuum Wave, and we Thunderbolt, and we take this game 2-0 somehow. Oh my god, what a game. I totally thought I lost. I thought I was totally in a corner. I thought, like, I basically sacked off a bunch of stuff. Like, I basically sacked Tornadus. Like, the Hydreigon play was legit. I basically just had to hope he lost. Or, like, that he either missed play rough or got the low roll oh my god. Got the low damage roll on Iron Head, and then I killed with Flamethrower. But, like, I basically sacked Tornadus because I thought, like, the game was over. And then it turns out my Jolteon outspeeds, and I'm like, what? And then, yeah, that end game was pretty sloppy and left me pretty free to being swept back. So basically what happened was he was at 38%. I think the U-turn roll is 35 to something. So it's like a 40-60 about in my favor roll, but still that was not a guaranteed kill. What was a guaranteed kill, what I should have done, was click return. Return was a guaranteed kill, and then I would have just had to let his Blaziken kill my Diggersby, and then go into Jolteon and kill that, and then I would win 1-0. That would have guaranteed me the game. If I didn't kill that Mew and it went for Roost on my U-turn, like, basically after I saw the Infestation, my thought was I can't let a Rock Polish up, so I don't want this to get too damaged, so I clicked U-turn. I really should have just clicked return, because that just would have killed the Mew outright, and then I would have guaranteed got the win 1-0. But I kind of got lucky, and unfortunately Goku misplayed a little bit, but I mean, hey, we take those wins, and yeah, that was an insane game. But yeah, GG to my man African Goku. Unfortunately, he doesn't have links on the doc, so I can't link him. But yeah, next week we will be going up against Rice. Actually, at the time of recording, the person who was supposed to battle Crypto actually dropped out of the league. So we will be going up against Rice, who is a new coach. I don't know if he's making drops yet. So he could. I might have to change up the start of the team that I have. Who knows? But yeah, I guess, yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Okay. I made playoffs in PDL, so I'm actually going to be live commenting my PDL playoff games just because, like, why not? So yeah, keep your eye on the channel for those, and keep your eye out on the channel for my next week in UPA. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.